Video game movies have always been bad, and up until recently, people thought that making an experience that could be a 40-hour story into a 2-hour one was impossible. With more and more successful adaptations happening, I had some hope that the Mario movie would end up being good, and I was right. Illumination made a good few of my favorite childhood movies, and judging by the box office numbers, this one has already become a favorite of today's children. I want to take some time and figure out what exactly makes this movie work. This movie had a lot of room to work with. The plot of a lot of Mario games can just be boiled down to Bowser kidnapping Peach and Mario having to save her, so you can pretty much build any type of story around that kind of premise. They ended up using this freedom very well and clearly had a lot of respect for Mario as a character and the franchise as a whole. I was a little worried when I found out that Chris Pratt of all people was voicing Mario, but he did a pretty good job. They start out the movie with Mario having an accent for his commercial, then drop it when he talks normally. This is probably the best choice given how if he sounded like Marlon Brando in The Godfather, it might be a little distracting. I think that they might have decided to forego the accent to make things a little less hard on Chris Pratt. Faking a decent New York accent is more than likely easier for him than an Italian one. The marketing department managed to play up the whole girl boss angle in enough of a way to draw in people who look for that kind of thing in the movies they watch, while also stirring things enough that people spend a lot of time talking about whether or not they would ruin Mario. They did this by posting a clip of Peach running through an obstacle course like she's done it 1,000 times. This is the type of thing that makes you wonder, why does she even need Mario? Why isn't she the main character? Well, we get that answer throughout the movie as the two of them get to learn and grow from each other. This is a true Mario movie, not just a Peach movie in disguise. Before we get into the actual plot, I have to talk about the music. The music in this movie has a great variety of iconic Mario songs, and I'm glad that the people who want to listen to the music from certain Nintendo games get at least a few of the best ones in the release of the soundtrack. Nintendo tends to keep their music as close to the chest as possible, and they will strike down people posting OSTs, meaning that some people will never get to experience some of the best video game music ever created. Even if the movie sucked, which it doesn't, I would still appreciate them releasing their music. Getting into the movie, we start out with Bowser attacking penguins in the Snow Kingdom. Bowser beats them easily and burns their castle. The scene weaves funny moments in with the serious ones very well, and the impact of both are never compromised. The penguins cast huge shadows behind the gate, and that scares one of Bowser's soldiers. Then we see that they are tiny. The penguins run out like it's the Battle of Winterfell, just to throw snowballs that have zero effect. Bowser being able to burn the castle to the ground establishes his threat level without getting too dark for the kids who will be watching. We're meant to see that Bowser is very powerful, and it will take a lot to stop him. We then cut to a commercial starring Mario and Luigi. I know that I already talked about the music a bit, but the fact that the commercial is to the same tune as the cartoon intro from the 80s is a really smart addition, because it makes the parents who are watching with their children remember those days and how much they loved those times. This is how you do nostalgic callbacks, something that isn't super disruptive but still is notable enough that you pay attention to it. Mario and Luigi continue on with their day, and we see that they are doubted by pretty much everyone, even their own family. The family scene feels pretty realistic, with the father telling Mario that quitting his stable job to chase down a dream was a bad idea, and Mario insisting that he can do it. A lot of times in these isekai type stories, the splendor of the world that the characters end up in is contrasted by the hardships in the world that they are from. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it's World War II. In The Wizard of Oz, it's the threat of Dorothy's dog dying. Here, it's nobody believing in Mario and Luigi. Personally, I like this trope. It's the kind of thing that makes the isekai world even more amazing. Once Mario and Luigi go out to stop the flooding in Brooklyn, they get sucked in the sewer and find a green pipe. The two of them get split up, and this really worked for me. Both of them get time to develop and grow without taking from each other, but Luigi is the only one with a real arc. Mario just learns how to adapt to the world around him. He was brave at the beginning, and he's still brave at the end. Lack of an arc for your main character doesn't always make a movie bad, especially in this case where Mario still has to learn how to use the elements of the world to his advantage. Having a main character that has already arrived and doesn't grow as a person or learn anything really does hurt a movie. Toad is the writer's exposition device for most of his screen time at the beginning, but he gives the exposition in a natural way. Given the fact that the kids watching may be introduced to the world at the same time that Mario is, everything that goes on makes sense. Anyone in this scenario would be confused and asking questions, and a person like Toad would love to answer them. Once we get a look at Peach's castle, we cut to Luigi. Because Luigi is so scared of everything, he gets dropped in the most fear-inducing part of the world. He runs around for a bit and then finds a mansion to run into, and is seemingly safe just to find out that there are more of Bowser's troops hiding in there. This is a subtle callback to Luigi's mansion, and it's scary enough that it might make a kid jump, but it's not nightmare fuel, which is good if you want parents to check out the digital release next month. They aren't going to let their kids watch the movie if it kept them from sleeping for a month, but showing that Luigi is in trouble and he doesn't even know it yet is great for personal investment. You understand exactly how and why he's so scared, and you sympathize with him. Mario finally meets up with Peach and we get context to the girl boss scene. Peach shows Mario how to do the course and gives him a power-up. Mario tries over and over but just can't complete the course. Mario says what he did was good enough and that she got it on the first try, but she grew up here. That isn't the best explanation, but it's better than she knows how to do it because she does. Stop asking. She probably got some pointers from the people who built the course, so I can accept this. Cut to Bowser, who is on his ship, and he reveals that he wants to marry Peach. This was a pretty good subversion of expectations, and I was surprised by this because I forgot how much Bowser loves Peach in a lot of Mario stories. It's a good way of explaining why Bowser is always kidnapping Peach. Outside of the whole burning down of the Snow Kingdom, up until the ending, Bowser is almost a sympathetic figure. That gets thrown away, but we'll get to that later. He also does fry one of his soldiers just to remind us he's evil. Remember guys, he's evil. He's super evil, alright? Mario and Peach set out on their journey and are joined by Toad. The trio arrive at Monkey Kingdom? They don't give the place a name, so I'm going to go with Monkey Kingdom. The king says that they can't have his army unless Mario beats his champion, so Mario has to face off with Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is a bit of a meathead, but he's endearing enough that I slowly warmed up to him. The fight with him and Mario has Mario getting stomped for a while, before Mario finally gets to a power-up that he can use to turn the fight around. The fight's pretty logical and things play out pretty much how you would expect. Donkey Kong only loses due to his hubris, and that makes sense given how he seems to be a teenager in this movie. If he was older, the fight would have been about a minute long. With that being said, the king knew that Bowser was coming. Why not go and meet him outside of the kingdom? If you lose, you can go back to your own kingdom and prepare to defend it with more knowledge on Bowser's tactics. Waiting for him to arrive and losing the element of surprise is not a good idea. I know that Bowser had spies watching them and decided to ambush them, but the king had no way of knowing that. With the information provided, the king should have joined forces with Peach the moment she arrived at his door. In fact, he should have already left. Him being stupid gives us a cool fight scene, and I assume that's the only reason why what I just said was not considered in the writer's room. Once Mario wins, the trio get taken to the kart factory. The factory has the kart builder from Mario Kart, and I know that I keep bringing them up, and I'm almost giving into member berry type of thinking, but this integration is so smooth, and with Thunderstruck kicking in, the mood feels just right. Mario, Peach, Toad, and Donkey Kong are ready to take on the world, and you're right there with them. They head off to ambush Bowser just for him to attack them on the way. The Bowser carts being nondescript is a good metaphor for the army itself. Everything has to be about Bowser, no one else can shine. It's the type of thing that lets us see into the mind of Bowser, and the picture we get is of a very insecure and troubled person who doesn't want to, or even know how to, be good. As much as he claims to quote-unquote love Peach, that love is more of an obsessive infatuation, like the one Anakin has for Padme. Bowser and Anakin don't really love Peach or Padme. They love the idea of them, or maybe it would be more accurate to say in Bowser's case that he loves the idea of having Peach as a possession. But that's enough of me attempting to psychoanalyze a children's movie villain. But I really dislike the sentiment of something being for children, so you can't look deep into it. A lot of media has depth, even kid stuff, if you look for it. Back to the story, Donkey Kong and Mario get split up from the group and swallowed by a whale so they can talk about their daddy issues together. They then make up and escape. Conversation is pretty cliche, so I'm not going to waste time on it. It's not bad, but I've seen it done 1,000 times before. We're not so different, you and I, kind of thing. Peach got captured by Bowser and Toad sneaks her a power-up to get away. Why doesn't she just leave? If she were to make a run for it, she would have had a lot better chance with everyone focused on the wedding. The prisoners never would have gotten lowered if she hadn't showed up, so in a way, she endangered them even more by not taking the chance. She ends up trying to take on the brunt of Bowser's army anyway, with pretty much no plan. Mario gets a flying suit power-up, and despite the movie establishing that one hit takes away your power-up,
oh yeah, when you get hit, you lose the power.
He takes multiple hits and is completely fine. Why draw attention to the fact that one hit depowers Mario just to have him unfazed when he keeps getting hit? They had him tank all the hits so Bowser could shoot the Mario equivalent of a nuclear warhead at him and he could fly away. Also, for the record, this is where I stopped viewing Bowser as almost sympathetic. Mario has the bright idea of sending the warhead directly into the pipe back to New York. Now, there is something really important about New York, that being that millions live there. Mario deciding to destroy the pipe makes no sense. He hasn't said anything that would make you think he doesn't want to go home. He hasn't said a ton about home in general. He could probably trick the missile into going into the water that it clearly flies over. The only reason they had Mario lose his mind like this is so that they could suck all the important characters into the real world for the final showdown. When the fight begins, Bowser beats Mario in a Thor 1 kind of way until Peach throws a star and Mario and Bowser race to it. Bowser realizes that Mario will beat him there, so he breathes fire and Luigi comes to save Mario. Remember how I said Luigi had more of an arc than Mario and then barely mentioned him again? That's because I lied. Well, sort of. Luigi only has more of an arc because he changes from being a coward at the end to saving Mario. But the movie doesn't earn this conclusion. Up until this point, Luigi has been scared the entire movie, and outside of a flashback to Mario being brave, nothing indicates that he will change by the end of the story. For most of the final battle, he's hiding in a dumpster. This arc is more of a teleport, from coward to brave in no steps. Mario and Luigi get the star and beat Bowser with it. Bowser gets shrunk and sent back to the Mushroom Kingdom. How did they get back? Who knows? Stop asking questions, turn your brain off, this is for kids.
Baby birdo, Luigi, and it needs our help. It's frozen inside the ice.
Stand back!
Well, this movie was a bit of a ride. They dropped the ball at the ending, but most of the runtime is fun enough that I understand why kids love it. The colors are vibrant and they pop. Bowser is over the top and pretty interesting. All of the video game references keep the older fans engaged, and that's a big part of the box office success. People have proposed a Mario cinematic universe, and I'm not sure I want that. We've only seen one successful attempt at these types of universes, and even that's starting to burn out. Maybe a Mario 2 would be nice, but let's leave things on a high note and not drag it out till it gets unbearable. Okay, thank you all for watching. Please like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. Thank you for all the nice comments that you guys have been leaving me. I try to read all of them. I think I read like 99% of them. I really enjoy them. When you leave a like, when you leave a comment, when you subscribe, it really helps out the channel. The algorithm loves that, so thank you.